What's up, guys, and welcome to Fantastic Four, The First Steps review. We did it. Marvel's back. It's been so long. I couldn't remember what this feeling felt like. Look, I know Superman's been getting all the glaze for the last couple weeks, but that movie wasn't that great, okay? But this was actually really good. Not only was it a good Marvel movie, not only was it a good Fantastic Four movie, it was just a good movie in general. And what I love most about this movie is that it truly felt like it stood on its own. You can not watch the other Marvel movies and watch this and know what the f is going on. Now, granted, it will be tied into the existing MCU universe, but as of right now, this film by itself is its own thing. There's so many things I really enjoyed about this movie. First and foremost, it had its own aesthetic, taking place within the 60s, but also having futuristic technology because of Reed Richards. It felt like you were looking into an alternate past, which you were. And I'm not entirely sure. It felt like this was the team from the 1960s Fantastic Four cartoon, which is referenced in the movie. Like it truly felt like a Fantastic Four movie. All the references were just for Fantastic Four, which was awesome. The random villains that they've gone up against, or the list of villains that Reed is keeping his tabs on. It was pretty f***ing dope, dude. Clearly in this universe, they are their world's Avengers, essentially. But, you know, the Fantastic Four. Reed is the foremost scientist on the planet, obviously. Which is also true within the regular MCU universe. Reed Richards is just him when it comes to big brain stuff. The pacing of this movie felt pretty much perfect. It was around 2 hours, which I feel like was just the perfect amount of time. Nothing felt like it was lagging. It was really good. Now, could the movie could have been a little longer? I think so. I think they could have fleshed out a couple of characters like Silver Surfer, for example. I thought aesthetically, Silver Surfer was dope. I really wanted Norrin Radd Silver Surfer, which I feel like we're going to get once they go back to the regular MCU 616 universe. But this version of Silver Surfer, which is also in the comics, you know, they still stayed accurate. It was the Silver Surfer riding through the cosmos. Something I feel like we didn't get from the older Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer movie. Like, Silver Surfer was dope, but there were some things that they did within there, like him having to be connected to his board and just losing power, and it's just a whole bunch of weird shit. And here, Silver Surfer felt like Silver Surfer. And that's really what draws me to the Fantastic Four. I read a lot of their comics because of the Silver Surfer, Galactus, Doctor Doom, my favorite villain of all time. And they hit it right on the head with this, you know, with some of these characters. But like I said, with Silver Surfer, I wish they went a little deeper with their character. I'll talk about that more in my spoiler review video. But when we first meet Galactus, the scale of Galactus was just perfect. Just finally getting Galactus in the correct form, the visuals, the voice. Ralph Ineson, I think is how you pronounce it. His voice sounds insane. I had only seen him in Robert Eggers films like The Witch, which, you know, his voice is just his voice all the time. But in that movie, it was so commanding and terrifying. So when I heard that he was going to play Galactus's voice, yeah, it just hit perfectly. This eons old cosmic being, like, his voice was perfect for that kind of role. And I love that they just brought the stakes to that level immediately. Like, they've had their time as Fantastic Four, they've done things, we just hadn't seen it. They give us a little montage of what they've done, and of course how they got their powers. They don't harp on the origin, which I feel like a lot of movies are doing now, especially if they're like, you know, reboots of previous older films like Superman, like the old Fantastic Four. It's like, we've seen it before, we don't have to see it again. Even if it was done stupidly in the other ones. And in the trailer, they show it. Galactus is after their child, Franklin Richards. If you know who Franklin Richards is, you know what's up. And thus we have our movie, the Fantastic Four going against Galactus. Off rip. Thank you, Marvel gods. Another thing that I loved about this movie was that it had a memorable score. I can't remember the last like 10 to 15 superhero movies score. You know, like it was the undertone of the film. The visuals always took precedent over the score. And I feel like it needs to be a bit of a give and take. It needs to be 50-50. And I feel like great filmmakers like Christopher Nolan understand that. And it doesn't have the cheat code like Superman to just go back to a John Williams score. And I really feel like they came up with a really good Fantastic Four score, dude. And it hit like every kind of emotion. It hit like when it was getting serious, it was still, you know, a somewhat similar score, but you could hear like the tones deepening and getting, oh, shit's going down. I thought everyone played their role really well. To be honest, I hadn't seen Vanessa Kirby in anything where I was like, yo, she's killing it right now. You know what I mean? She was in Hobbs and Shaw, Mission Impossible. She did well in those movies, but it was never like, oh my God, this is crazy. I think she was a great Sue Storm. Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, perfect. I think they all just generally had like really great chemistry together. They really felt like a family. Ebon Moss-Backrack, I think is how you say his name. Dude, he had the perfect It's Clobbering Time, New York, The Thing accent. I loved it.
What time is it, Ben? No. What time is it, Ben? No, Johnny. Say it! I don't wanna! Say it!
Yo, and real quick, Pedro Pascal's aura just needs to be studied for the future, right? For posterity. First off, this guy is in absolutely everything. And I never thought of him as being Reed Richards. But man, it works. The dude is just a chameleon as an actor. The after credit scenes I'll get into in the spoiler talk. But man, that mid-credit scene was, you know? Yeah, overall, I think this movie did really well. And I'm just so happy. Like for me, Superman wasn't the greatest, and Marvel movies this year also just haven't been like the greatest thing ever. Thunderbolts was cool. I like what they did there, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't as fulfilling as this movie was for me. And I feel like this movie just did a lot of things right. The aesthetic, the score, the actors, just fucking hit it, dude. Felt like it could have been a little bit longer, maybe like 15, 20 minutes, go a little deeper on like Silver Surfer and some other stuff, you know, like I feel like they could have done that, but overall, the movie was dope. Oh, and Mole Man, dude. Mole Man was like, you know, it was cool that he was there, but it did start to feel a little bit like he's, you know, he's here for those Marvel jokes, but they didn't overdo it like they did, in my opinion, for Superman. In this movie, they let emotional moments breathe. They let you feel those dark moments, those sad moments. Get it together, James Gunn. Not everything has to be bookended with a fucking joke. But yeah, seeing Mole Man was just awesome to see. Was he there for comedy? Absolutely. But he also did some stuff I'll talk about in the spoiler review. That'll be out a little after this. But I give this movie a Galactus out of 10. No, but really, I give this movie probably like a 9.3 out of 10. I could be just a prisoner of the moment. I am Marvel biased. I do love Marvel more than DC. But I'm just happy to see a good, like a genuinely good film from Marvel. There hasn't been one for a while, dude, okay? And with that, I bid you adieu. Please like, comment, and subscribe. How did you enjoy this movie, dude? Go see it. It's out this weekend right now. Go right now, dude. Spoiler review coming out right after this. And take care now, and bye by then. Ta-ta.